about sustainability, and this is part and parcel about being vegan. That goes a little bit deeper than just a plant-based diet. There's every area that you can ever think of is part of that plant-based diet, and plant-based diets are been proving to show that they are healthy. Hi, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Neil. I've been a nurse for the last 28 years. If you want to know more about my journey that I got to this point, just watch my previous video on how I began being vegan. So in this video, what I want to talk about now is the foods that I eat on not a daily basis, but most of the time. For me, foods need to be comforting, and they need to be delicious, and they need to be healthy. So when I talk about the vegan diet is just part of the family that's called plant-based diets. Plant-based diets are a lot of all encompassing and including vegan, but there are variations of the same theme, and the idea is to eat more plant-based foods. So foods that are just made from plants without any animal products, that's vegan. However, you can have every variation. You can eat fish, you can eat just chicken, you can just eat eggs. So those are called different parts of the diet. So there's lacto-vegetarian, there's vegetarian, there is nutritarian, there's flexitarian, pescatarian. There's every area that you can ever think of is part of that plant-based diet. And plant-based diets are been proving to show that they are healthy. They reduce heart disease, they reduce cholesterol, they potentially can reduce type 2 diabetes, weight loss. It can help with obesity. So plant-based diets have been proven that they work. So in every diet that ever existed, there is a potential for the diet to be unhealthy. It all depends on what you eat, how you prepare the food, and what you do with the ingredients that you're given. So you can make, vegan food, but deep fry it and bread it and all that, and then you can make it unhealthy. But what needs to happen is that you need to choose foods that are nutrient dense, and then also prepared in such a way that you're not adding too much salt, too many high refined sugars, and then reducing the fat as well. So you can potentially make any diet, doesn't matter what you eat, whatever, you can make it unhealthy. So it doesn't matter. So these are just the foods that I've prepared in the last 4 months. I've made pizzas. I've made dairy-free cheeses. I've made hamburgers. I've made Jamaican patties. I've made a whole bunch of different types of food that I really enjoy eating. I've also made salads, of course, and some soups, but mostly what I eat is I prefer to eat stuff that's like meat based. So I do make a seitan type of meat on occasion, but I'm aware of that's not necessarily a healthy way to do it. So I try to add more ingredients to my gluten, my wheat gluten, in order to add up the fiber, add in some extra micronutrients, just to make it as healthy as I can. But I've made burgers, and I also make a breakfast sandwich that is actually like a fake sausage. So the flavor is not quite the same as a sausage, of course, but it does satisfy my palate as far as getting a plant-based diet in, and those meats that I used to enjoy eating. But I'm also reducing the fat content, I'm reducing the high processed sugars, I'm reducing the salt. I used to be a saltaholic, And I think that another thing that really caused my issues. So if you want to know what my issues are, just watch the previous video. You'll see. But I also want to talk about veganism as the point of no animal products. So I don't use any products that are part of that come from any part of an animal. So that's leather, that's the products, hair product. Oh, I don't really need hair products, but soap and that type of stuff. That's like not made from animals or byproducts of animals. I do eat honey though. The honey that I get is locally grown, locally made, and ethically farmed, so that no bees are harmed in the collection of the honey. And I think that's important, and that honey is such a healthy food. It's antimicrobial, it's antifungal, it's got a lot of good properties that they've been using for over thousands of years as a medicinal product. So I wanted to make sure I get that health product in, but I also want to make sure that it's sustainable. Bees are not harmed in the collection of the honey. Bees are not harmed in any part of the process. So that's why I include honey in my diet, because it's ethically sourced, and I know the people who do it, and they love the bees just as much as a family member. So yeah, why not? It's made from love, right? So why not choose that? So a word about sustainability, and this is part and parcel about being vegan. That goes a little bit deeper than just a plant-based diet. So sustainability is the using land, like for an example, land in a sustainable way, in an efficient way, instead of using it inefficiently to produce the food that we need. So let's say, for example, you got an acre of land, right? You want to make so on that 1 acre of land, you want to make some protein. You want to make some kind of protein that you can use in your meals. So you have a choice. You can either go soybeans or you can go beef, for an example. It's just part of the only information that I could actually reliably find that actually gave me the numbers that I needed to make this example. So soybeans, you can have, in one plant, you can get 50 pods, and then in those pods you can get 2 to 4 soybeans in them. So I averaged it out to be about 3. So on one plant you can fit 100,000 plants on 1 acre of property, for an example. And then from that one plant you can get enough soybeans to make 2 pounds of tofu. So for one plant you can make 2 pounds of tofu. You can fit 100,000 plants on 1 acre of property, and then that will produce 200,000 pounds of tofu. So a word about land use. Not all land is viable as far as for plant use. I do have my own hydroponic system that I use. So you can do it in such a way that you're not using the land at all, or you can do it with hydroponic system where you're just using just water and nutrients to grow your plants, and that will give you more vertical space to use. So there's a lot of ways that land can be used. So hydroponics on a like a 4 or 5 tier system, you can produce more plants. So, but I'm not using that as an example. I'm just using it as the land that's being available, that's for use for the soybean. You can fit 100,000 plants on it. You can get 200,000 pounds of tofu. Now conversely, you can get you can grow beef, for an example. So from a source that I got, it was from the beef farmers of my country that I'm from, which is Canada. They, they can go. So the information that I got was from there. So growing 1,000-pound to 1,500-pound animal, they requires 0.27 of an acre. So I rounded it down to a quarter of an acre. So that means you can get 4 animals, for cattle, for raising beef on that property. So you can get 4 of those. So 4 times, let's do the high number of 1,500 pounds. That's 6,000 pounds. But not all the animal is going to be used for meat, right? There's a lot of it is bone, a lot of it's whatever. It's not all meat. But for this example, we're just going to use the 1,600 pound animal as an example. So from there, you can get 4 animals on there, but we're not including the water use for hydration, for cleansing, or any of that. We're not even talking about the feed that's a need to do for the animal. Let's assume that you just get that free from your Uncle Bob. Okay, Uncle Bob's a nice guy. He loves you, so he just gives you all this stuff to grow this animal. Okay, so we're just growing an animal. So it takes 18 months to 2 years to go from a calf to a fully grown, mature thing. So you're gonna have to wait approximately 1.5 years, 2 years before you can harvest the animal for food. Conversely, a soybean takes 4 or 5, maybe on the worst days, 6 months before you can harvest. And then, so if I'm growing the soybeans and someone else is growing the cattle, I'm already preparing my food in 6 months, where they're still waiting for their animals to grow. Anyways, that's besides the point. So when you growing an animal, so up to 1,500, 1,600 pounds, there's 7, you can get, what is it now? 7 grams of protein in the beef per ounce. So that equates to 112 grams per pound. And conversely, you can get 45 grams per pound of protein in tofu. So, that's more protein available in the beef. However, the acre of land, you can grow way more tofu than you can beef. So that will equate to 9 million grams of protein per acre that you can grow with the tofu, versus 500,000 grams of protein that you can get per acre if you grow the beef. So I also did a cost comparison as well. I went out yesterday and I bought some tofu. I bought 3 pounds of tofu, and that cost me $8. So $8 for 3 pounds of tofu. If I were to buy that in beef, 3 pounds of beef would have cost me $33 to $40 for 3 pounds of beef. So I saved 5 times less. And the production potential for tofu is 9 times more than what you get on 1 acre of land. So that's sustainability and vegan in a nutshell, and that's why I think personally it's important to use the land efficiently, as efficiently as we can, in order to produce all this food. So there's worldwide shortages of food, and people are starving, but we feed our animals in order to grow the beef in an unsustainable way. And that's my take on it. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed all the food that I showed you, and then hope you have a great day. Okay, bye.